So my topic is political awakenings, and I wanted to hear from you all if there's anything that you used to believe that you have since seen the light on and no longer believe. And if we have the slides that I shared, maybe no.
Did you
Okay,
send me slides?
I
I didn't
did, but
see
I sent them.
slides.
I sent them late, so that's my fault.
Oh,
But to kick it off, I wanted to talk about Kurt
trying to see if I can
Barcella,
find.
who is a former Republican strategist for like a long time. And he's an Asian man or Asian American man. And he talks about how he writes an article in the USA Today where he talks about how he's leaving the Republican Party. This was in 2017. And it was because of the fact that the Republican Party was basically propping up Roy Moore, who is another pedophile. And he was
Oh,
like, I don't understand how this party would rather prop up a pedophile than vote for a Democrat. It's absurd. And so he became a Democrat. He saw the light. He woke up, and now he's a Democratic strategist. He's got some of you may have seen him on Joy Reid's show when she was on MSNBC, and now he's got a show on News Nation and is a Democratic strategist. So that's an example of someone who had a political awakening and saw the light. Yeah, this is
okay.
it.
That one? Okay, I'll grab the other one while you're
Thank
talking.
you. So the article is called Roy Moore is the Last Straw. You can now call me a Democrat. And I won't read this whole thing. But basically, he says the GOP would rather elect a sexual predator who preys on teenagers than a prosecutor who happens to be a Democrat. That's it. I'm switching parties. That was the subheading. And when you read this,
Whoops.
no, it's fine.
All right.
This is great. When you read this, it's like
Oh,
this is 2017. He could be talking about the same party today because just replace Roy Moore with Jeffrey Epstein or Donald Trump, allegedly. So he ends with saying, this is not a party I want to be associated with any longer. This is not a party that is trustworthy enough to protect innocent children from sexual predators.
hmm.
So this is kind of a heavy intro to a political awakening, but does anyone have anything that they'd like to share where they changed their position on something that they used to believe? I can
I'll,
start.
I'll, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Please, Kim.
Um, I used to believe that our democracy was much more protected than it is.
Mhm.
It was like, for me, I use the analogy that I'm 5 years old, 4 years old, learning that Santa Claus doesn't exist, kind of thing. It was a complete dissolution, you know. Um, I had no idea that our democracy was this fragile, right? That's naivete on my part. Um, I also learned that both of our parties are bought and paid for by corporate lobbyists, by big money, um, which is why I switched from Democrat to independent. But when I was younger, I hated politics, didn't want to be involved in anything that had anything to do with politics, didn't care. Obviously, completely different now. When you get older, you wake up, and then, of course, you know, when Trump became president the first time, it's an open eye moment.
For
So
sure.
those are, yeah.
There is to Jazzy's point here, there is definitely a, a preoccupation with sex in the Republican Party, whether it's pedophilia or Matt Gaetz. Let's not forget him and what he was accused with Ron Johnson trying to, or what's his name? Steve, what's his name? Speaker's name, Johnson.
Mike.
Oh,
Mike
Mike
Johnson.
Johnson.
Mike Johnson trying to get all the gays to conversion camps to like why are they so focused on every and Donald Porn going with Donald Trump with the grab them and the there's just an obsession with sex. Why can't sex just be left in the bedroom and left
Mhm.
to people's own discretion? And why is that even a topic of the federal government?
Well, and there's that rumor that during the RNC, the Grinder app in
Yeah.
DC was just lit up with all these Republicans trying to hook up with other men.
I agree. I think they protest too much. And there's a lot of truth to those old sayings. And I think that this weird obsession with all of it is because they're running from themselves. I mean, they are in a lot of different Jim Jordan with the whole wrestling thing and whatever's going on there. I mean, come on, people. This isn't, and you tell me, Lindsey Graham is gonna fly straight out of that bow, a straight arrow. Come on. It's just,
Yeah.
You
it's
did not talk about his boa. Okay.
no, I was talking about a bow, like a straight arrow, like shooting
I
straight
know what
now.
you're talking about, but I'm talking about his true boa.
Oh, his true
Okay.
bow.
And also, I think you mean Lady Graham.
Yeah.
Yes.
Similar to
Yes.
Kim, similar to Kim, I also in November I left the Democratic Party. Honestly, I never wanted to be registered as a Democrat, but when I moved from California to New York, you have to pick a party if you want to vote in a primary because we don't have open primaries, which is bullshit. But I I was very much like anti doing that for the longest time because I wanted to be able to vote in primaries. But after what happened in November and the way that I saw the Democratic establishment turn their backs on Kamala Harris and throw her under the bus and talk about how she failed in this campaign and hearing people say things like and anonymously, of course, they didn't want to be like some senator or congressman said that he didn't want to be part of the party of freaks and weirdos, like those of us who aren't like middle of the road straight white males are freaks and weirdos. And I just had enough. I'm not going to be part of this party's roles. They can't just take black people for granted. We show up for the Democratic Party every freaking election, and I had enough. And I wrote to my senator Chuck Schumer, and I told him so. I was like, I don't care what y'all do. It's not my problem anymore, but you need to do something because you're going to lose the next election. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to go ahead and become a Republican and start voting like I have lost my mind. It just means that they are going to have to work for my vote. And it means that I didn't get to vote for Zoran Mondani in the primary. I'm so glad that he won. And I will be voting for him for mayor. I'm sorry, August. I know you don't really care about the free groceries.
No, I don't.
But I I want candidates like him who are doing something different, not candidates who are part of the machine.
Yeah.
Well, I think we
Well
have.
said.
I mean, the problem with the Democrats now is we've all lost hope because we've seen our party let us down, and we see how the Republicans, whether it's MAGA or what, they're tighter than ticks, and they stick together no matter through right and wrong, through lies, through crime, through what, and they're still just gonna bury their head in the sand and go along with it. And I thought cults were over in the 70s and 60s, but they're alive and well apparently. And I think we just don't know where to turn. Like I too I'm disappointed in Biden, and I'm disappointed in Kamala Harris. I loved her. I wanted her to be the president when she first came out in the scene. When I first was introduced to her, you guys in California knew a lot more about her. I didn't until she ran in the primaries, and she was my pick with Pete as her running mate. But where was she in a lot of this? Where was she? She should have been much more visible through the entire 4 years, not just at the end. And
They wouldn't let her. It's not her
They
fault.
wouldn't let her. She's a vice president. That's a
But
whole
look,
All
other
vice
conversation.
presidents are
That's a
like
whole
Right.
nother
but
candidate.
That's a whole
but
other
this is
ball
my
of wax.
point. Who
But
is
I
they?
understand your point, Jim, that she should have
Administration.
stood up, but sometimes you got to know your lane. And they put her in her lane as a VP to be there, to stay there, to conduct what business at hand. You can't falter for that. Now, where is she now? I can't speak to that.
As far as I'm concerned, Kamala did exactly what she was supposed to do. She showed up. She turned the election around. She gave people hope. She only had a short amount of time to do it.
Come on,
And
Marlon.
I give her
Speak
nothing but
on it.
flowers.
There you go.
I agree. Vice presidents have never had any kind of power. Maybe
None.
it's a mistake. Maybe they need to be part of the team more and brought along, but except for JD Vance. But yeah, that's always existed. I
And the
believe.
reason why they keep them in the shadows for safety reasons, because they have to step up if anything goes wrong. Come on, guys, you
Yeah.
know your amendment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what I was. Thank you, August. Yes. She's there to support Biden.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not
all their
That,
job.
anything where,
yeah.
she's next in
Nobody.
line, so she has to
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
sort
Yeah,
of
God
kind of
forbid. Yes,
yeah.
anything
Mhm.
happens, she has to be able. So she's well aware of everything that's going on to a certain point. She doesn't have the nuclear codes per se, but when it's her turn
Mhm.
to step up, she would have been able to step up. But that's a whole nother subject. I really don't mean to step on you, Jim. Just I get passionate about it because everyone's like always, well, Kamala should have did more. You could only do what you are handed to. And God damn it, she stepped up, she stepped in, and she did what she had to do. Now, maybe if
Yeah.
she would have picked someone else, they keep saying, like what's his name from Pennsylvania or Philadelphia, then
Oh,
people would have
Shapiro.
probably Shapiro.
Tim
Mhm.
Yeah.
Walz was shit, okay?
So
Yeah, I love
we can
Yeah, but
have
Gaza
another
was the reason
argument
why.
on that. But I'm just only
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. But I agree, Keisha. I was with you. I didn't like the way they turned on her. I didn't like the way the Democratic Party turned on each other in general,
Mhm.
which was not a good look at
It was
all.
too much
And
infighting
yeah,
about every
and
single freaking thing.
exactly.
Well, you could thank
And
Clooney for
I'm
that.
not
Yeah,
happy.
thank you, George Clooney.
I'm not happy
Wow,
about
that
that.
was uncalled for. I can't believe. Yeah, he needed.
He's like Comey, right? George Comey. I mean Clooney.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
see, I gotta push back, guys. A lot of the vice presidents, to that point that just came up here in the comments, a lot of the vice presidents were visible. A lot of the vice presidents were working on their own things, and they had initiatives to work on.
Yeah, she was
Biden,
working.
Biden had.
That's what
What do
she
you
was
mean?
doing. She was working her initiatives.
It
right.
wasn't one of her initiatives. The border. Let's call it what it was.
It was to
Look,
find
don't let
out
Tom
why.
hold
How
it.
many
Let me
times does
hold
she
it.
have to
Wait a
say
minute.
that the Trump killed that bill? They were trying to get it passed. He killed that
Oh
shit.
no, that's
It
true.
was
Let
brought
me
to the
not
floor.
let me
How
go
many
there.
times she
Okay.
You're
got to say that
Don't
absolutely
shit?
right,
listen
May.
to
You're
Tom
absolutely
Holden
right.
that she was some border czar. She did what she had to do. She stood on principle in regards to that. Could they have done more? Absolutely. But guys, y'all getting that selective amnesia right now.
Mm-hmm.
You got to remember, we came out of COVID. There was a lot of shit going down the pipe that
Yeah.
they had to save us to pull us back from the BS that went down. But you know what? Your selective amnesia will come to light because we're going to keep it 100.
I also
All
blame
I
the media for how they covered her. They barely covered her. So you
Exactly.
barely knew what she was doing. So people would ask,
Exactly.
what is she
I
doing?
agree, Keisha.
And then they would cover stupid things like her laugh. She laughs too much.
yeah
What?
said the
Have
same
you
thing
heard
You
about
don't
people
laugh at
Tucker
all, you
Carlson's
miserable
laugh?
piece of
Oh
shit.
my God.
I know.
Trump doesn't even laugh.
Yeah, I don't. Has he ever left?
Yeah,
He has the capability to.
Yeah,
he's allergic to it apparently.
that's good.
I'm
I
just
don't care how
tired
you.
of the black woman holds the water. And God damn it, if we drop one damn drop, it's a problem.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. She
No,
was
it's not
amazing,
about. It's
and
not
she
about.
was right
No, it's
about
not.
A
everything.
lot of that is
Right
women
about
in general.
everything.
You guys are missing something. I said I wanted her to be the president. I
No,
thought she
no,
was
we're
No,
not.
amazing.
No,
you
We
didn't
no,
miss
heard
it.
you.
Okay.
We heard you, Jim. No, you're
Yeah.
taking it the wrong way. But
Okay.
what I'm standing on principle about is that black women is the lowest of the low to a lot of people. And if we don't hold the water at 150%, we haven't held the water. That's what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Yeah,
No.
She need to go rest. Honestly,
I know.
I would be so mad if I were her. Honestly, I wouldn't.
Hmm
I would be so mad. I would borderline not give a fuck about any single one of us in this country because of like how she was done, and to watch. I'm sure she loves this country. To watch what is happening in what she could have had offered and South, and now what we got, I would
And
be
she,
hot.
yeah,
I
me
would
too.
be hot.
That's right.
And she told us
That's right.
everything she said was correct.
And Kim, I
Maureen, go
do
ahead.
understand what you're saying. Women in
Is
general.
she going
need
to
to
run
treat-
for governor, perhaps? I have heard that. I don't know.
Oh, she doesn't.
I
That's
know
beneath
that's
her.
no, that's
That's
beneath
beneath
her.
her.
She should run for president, if anything. Again,
Mm.
She could still run for president
We'll
again.
take her over here in California. Y'all can go ahead
yeah,
and mess
yeah,
around with these
She'd
other
be a great
buffoons.
governor.
I feel she did a good job in California.
But
Mhm.
Kim, I
yeah.
just wanted to say, you're right. Women in general has always been treated like shit.
Oh, yeah.
But we just get treated.
Even more
Yeah.
understood. And I know. And
In other countries can have women
I see it.
presidents and what have you, but for some reason,
America's like,
Yeah.
nope.
Like Mexico, that country that we spend so much time looking down on, they have
Yeah.
a
yeah,
female
it's
president.
women. Yeah. Yeah.
There are
They
70
gangster too. They
female
don't give a fuck.
presidents or leaders of
They-
countries in this world right now.
Yeah.
And you know, all those women, women who were saying women shouldn't be leaders of the country, mainly on the Republican side, this bullshit. Because I pulled that statistic for a couple of them who were pushing back on that with Kamala. But I don't know. I'm disgusted with the Democratic Party, not her specifically, but that
Just overall, right?
I kept saying it back on the Lemon show that they need to fight, they need to push back, they need to get the messaging out, they need to go to rural America with these tapes with Donald sitting on a freaking golden toilet while these people are living in trailers with no heat and no electricity and show these people what they're voting for. And nobody bothered to do. I mean, there was just a lot of taking things for granted, and that should have been learned the first time around with Hillary Clinton. Sorry, but it should have been learned then.
Absolutely.